Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today we have some big, interesting Cloud9 news to talk about. This is, of course, this recent LCS EV tweet on the screen right now. Sources: Cloud9 part ways with COO Trisha, which I believe is CMO. She's actually the Chief Marketing Officer, and CPO Dota Genius, or .A Genius, whatever. I'm not sure how you say it, but he is the CPO, the Chief Product Officer. Now, I don't think many people, myself included, know as much about Dota Genius, .A Genius, whatever. I know that in this article from the Game House, EV talks about it a little bit. He says, according to sources, Cloud9 will be parting ways with CMO Megumi X Bear and CPO Dota Genius. This comes as there's a lot of movement in the LCS and esports world as a whole. Whether this is due to either person wanting to leave or cuts from C9 is not currently known. And I think we do actually know this now, so I'll get into that a little bit later in this video. We can talk about whether it was their choice or not to be let go from Cloud9 or to move on from Cloud9 or whatever. But Trisha Suguta, I'm not exactly sure how you say it, is most known for her time at FlyQuest. She helped to get the brand off the ground and left for C9 a little less than a year ago. So she was not even with Cloud9 for a whole year. That is, not a great sign, not a great thing necessarily. Kind of weird, kind of unexpected, and at the very least kind of strange, and has a lot of people wondering and asking questions of, hey, what the heck is going on over at Cloud9 right now? Either way, whether it was because she wanted to leave in less than a year, or whether she's getting ousted in less than a year. She's been a major influencer in the scene. It'll be interesting to see what she does next. Even with the financial woes of the scene, many brands could benefit from her addition, which I do agree with. As for Dota Genius, he was the Cloud9 Chief Product Officer. He's also known for being the previous CEO of FlyQuest before their acquisition by the Florida Panthers. It would be safe to assume that his experience is also something that other LCS teams and orgs in general may want to take a look at. When looking at his Twitter, it seems that this has already been confirmed in his bio. Here is Dota Genius Michael. It says X, Cloud9, and FlyQuest. So this does seem to be legit. He also just tweeted out this apparently 17 hours ago. I don't know. He seems to not be super excited about this new recent news. The esports world has a lot going on for numerous reasons, but the most prominent discussion is around the economic struggles of esports orgs. This is not to say that the reason for the separation is due to the financial issues surrounding the entire scene. Okay, but there's a chance that it could have had an effect. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that could have had an effect. There is a chance for sure. It will be interesting to see whether or not these positions are filled soon. So that's the other question. Just because C9 is getting rid of these people, it doesn't necessarily mean that they need to fill these positions. Obviously, these are C-suite positions, whatever. But in the current financial landscape and downturn of esports in general, a lot of orgs are going to be kind of cutting some fat. They're going to be, running leaner and trying to make the necessary changes where possible to become closer and closer to profitability, or become closer and closer to running how legitimate businesses need to be ran. But yes, this absolutely is not a great look for C9. Over on the C9 subreddit, people were, of course, talking about this. Saying things like, if you're trying to beat the C9 broke allegations, this is not the way to do it. And of course, this comes after recent news that the Cloud9 roster has taken pay cuts, I believe I don't know if it was going into this split or going into the summer split to stick together. I know somebody talks about that in one of these comments down here. The league scene has been overinflated. Yes, absolutely. The players of C9 LOL took salary cuts over winter to stay together. So yes, coming into this year, the C9 players took salary cuts. It seems like things are not going great for C9. Now, this is not C9 exclusive. Now, there are some teams doing better than others. This is not an excuse for Cloud9 to be like, oh, all the teams are financially unsustainable and all the teams are losing money and all the teams need to blah, 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 blah. Again, this seems very strange to me for all this stuff to be happening 4 months into the year. Again, it's April of 2023, because coming into the year, all the teams and all the people, all the media, everyone was saying how bad the financial situation was looking for so many in the esports world. So why are these changes being made 4 months into the year? Why were these changes not made headed into the 2023 season? Did people not believe that the financial struggles were coming? Did people not believe that changes needed to be made? Did people not believe that these unsustainable business models were in place and that an esports winter or whatever was coming? There's just so many questions that I really don't understand about all the things that have been going on in esports, but Obviously, we have to feel for, I think, Trisha, especially since she's been more public facing, how, you know, she left FlyQuest to come to Cloud9. She had a very, very awesome opportunity and job over at FlyQuest. I know she's talked a little bit about how she really felt she did all she could at FlyQuest, and there was there wasn't really any more growth or potential or things like that for her to do at this point. But then now you see all the cool and exciting things that are going on at FlyQuest, and they're really reaching new levels and new heights, and they have new money and all this stuff. So it really does suck for her that she, kind of left FlyQuest to come to Cloud9 and now is already out, again, less than a year later. I don't know where she's going to end up. I know there is also some comments and stuff out there, which I think is a little bit fair, of saying, hey, what were these guys doing as a chief marketing officer and chief product officer? We haven't seen any new marketing tactics from Cloud9. We haven't seen any new, crazy products that are really, really exciting. We haven't really seen anything all that insane over the last year from Cloud9, and maybe that's why C9 and the org feel comfortable letting them go. What were these people even doing? We know what Trisha was doing over at FlyQuest. She was very vocal and public and forward-facing about all the things she was doing, but we've seen mostly radio silence ever since her joining Cloud9, and the fans haven't really noticed any big differences. So I think largely it's possible that these losses won't really be felt. Now I'm sure they, I know for a fact are cool people and have a positive influence in the scene, and I'm sure help the teams in certain ways, but obviously it's possible the team has deemed that their value just isn't there, or they just can't afford them anymore at this time. If we do scroll all the way to the bottom of this post, we actually do have a post from Jack Etienne, the CEO of Cloud9, saying C9 continues to make the hard decisions to ensure we have a bright future. I'm grateful that we still have incredible teams and our players and staff are happy and motivated. We're excited about our future and are rising to meet the challenges of today. Now, that quote says pretty much nothing, but it all does, especially since it's a comment on this thread, all but confirm that these changes are being put in place. I think it also does all but confirm that these changes are from the Cloud9 side. This is Cloud9 getting rid of these people. This isn't these people leaving the organization, which of course I don't think is totally shocking. Obviously C9 is one of the biggest orgs in the LCS. Once you get a job with them, most people don't really leave. Most people don't really move on. Most people don't really where else are they going to go? It's not like they're going to find many better opportunities out there in the LCS. It seems like C9 is a great workplace, great environment, and again, one of the biggest names. Now, it is cool that these guys at least have C9 on their resume now. Obviously, I do think it's still going to help them going forward, but this is what we have heard from Jack. Again, I think this is another bad sign overall for esports, another bad sign for Cloud9. Money's tight. Teams are having to make these decisions, and in the short term, it's a bad sign. In the short term, it means financial issues are not great. They're having to fire, people who are even very high up in the organization. But there is also the other side of the argument that says, hey, in the long term or even in the medium term, this is going to be a good thing, because this means they are making efforts to actually become financially sustainable, financially feasible, which again is probably a good thing in the long run, because it doesn't make sense how terribly these businesses have been run over the past couple of years, and it was never going to be able to stay this way. Now, obviously, again, I feel bad for these people who have lost their jobs. I think it's very unfortunate. Hopefully they land on their feet. But yeah, this is the newest update to Cloud9. They have moved on from COO Trisha and CMO Trisha and CPO Dota Genius. Again, whether you think it's good news, bad news, whatever, this is the latest. But pretty much for this video today, guys. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.